Hi, I'm Jen Fessler, and I was made in Jersey.
Jump on 95. Get the turnpike, we're only in Jersey tonight.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the Garden State. Welcome to Made in Jersey. I am Jerry Strauss, and our guest this week, man, she is somebody who is identified so closely with New Jersey. Despite the fact she's not a native, she certainly feels like one, and we are so happy to embrace her as one of our own. She's a popular fixture, of course, on The Real Housewives of New Jersey. You may know some of her professional work, of course. F Major, a shoe company that, if you know anything about footwear, you know all about them. And of course, she is now the newest member of the American Dream Mall family. We'll be talking all about it. She's here. She's Jen Fessler. How are you?
Guys, hi Jerry. Thank you so much for having me. I'm a Jersey girl. I
You
mean,
are.
I may have been born in Jersey and I may not have been raised in Jersey, but now I'm as Jersey as they come. I got two Jersey kids. I married a Jersey boy. I live in Northern Jersey. We just got a house in Southern Jersey. So I'm
Mm,
all day, all Jersey. I
absolutely.
even wore my animal print to prove it.
Yes, yes. We could be hanging out on the boardwalk as we speak. I mean, temperature notwithstanding. But it's so cool to have you here because you are such an example of you've achieved. We talk about the American dream, and we will talk about the American dream all literally. But this is the Jersey dream. You've come here. You've become one of us. Um,
Who knew?
we love it. We love it. Arms wide open.
Thank
Uh,
you.
so tell us though, because you have such an interesting and diverse and successful career in so many different ways. What was the runway like to that? Tell us, for those who don't know your background, where did you spend your formative years and what were you doing during those years, growing up and developing into this motivated, passionate professional that you are?
First of all, thank you. Those are some serious compliments, and I appreciate them. I grew up in Texas, of all places. I was born in Leesville, Louisiana. My dad was in the Army, and we moved to Columbus, Ohio. We moved actually to Houston and then to Long Island. I have two parents. They're both Brooklyn Jews who were married when they were young. And again, my dad was in the Army and they got divorced when they were young and when I was young. And my mom remarried and moved my sister and I to Sugar Land, Texas. So, I was 9 years old when we moved to Sugar Land and I graduated from the University of Texas at Austin. So I grew up in Texas, although my husband, so Jeff's always like, stop with that. You grew up in Texas. Okay. Like, your parents are Brooklyn Jews, you were on Long Island, but I don't know, 9 until I graduated college. I think that's
Mm,
it, right? But once I graduated UT, I literally moved as fast as the wind could take me. I wanted to live in New York City. So I
mhm.
moved to New York and I thought I was gonna become an actress. I tried, I wasn't a very good one. And I had I don't know, tens of felt well, not tens of thousands, but so many different jobs while I was living in New York. I was a talent agent. I was a human resource director. Um, I ran a dating service, which is where I met Jeff Fessler. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I was kind of all over the place, and I lived in New York for 10 years. I met Jeff, and then I became a Jersey girl, moved out of the city, and we got married, and my son was born in this town that I'm in now in Upper Saddle River, New Jersey, and then my daughter was born. But yeah, I guess I graduated college not knowing what I wanted to do. I just knew I
Mm.
wanted to live in New York City. I wanted to be in the big city and I wanted to be on TV or be a soap opera star. I don't know. I wasn't necessarily so career driven, right? But
Right.
a girl's got to work. So I did what I had to do. And I had a lot of different jobs. I wouldn't say they were all careers. got married, kept working, became a fashion recruiter. I did that for a while. So, I didn't have a very, direct path. I certainly did not have a direct path to becoming a friend of a housewife of New Jersey, right? I don't know if there is a direct path to that. But in terms of my company, I created a shoe company when I was 50 years old. So I'm 56 now, and never thought that I was an entrepreneur, never really, aspired to that. But as I got older, late 40s into 50, I couldn't wear heels anymore. They were just too painful for me. And I had been, you know, I had been the Sarah Jessica Parker, the Sex and the City, love for heels
Right.
always.
Right.
So that was really discouraging for me. And I was starting to feel my age. And so tried to find myself a high heel that I could actually walk in and that wouldn't make me want to cry. And, all of these different forces of the universe came together, and I found myself in Nordstrom's right here at Garden State Plaza over here in,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Uh, right? In,
Up north, yeah.
right, in Paramus. And so asking a sales lady, please help me find a pair of heels that I could wear. I had an event that was coming up, and I said, just need one pair of black heels. I'll wear them with everything if I could find one comfortable pair. And the woman's like, well, the problem is, you have to go bigger than what you're used to. And I'm a size 10. And she said, so try 11. So I put on like all of these heels that were size 11, and they were expensive. I didn't care. I was like, I just need one pair. I don't care what I have to pay for them. So she was bringing me high end. She was bringing me low end, and surprise, surprise, like they were 11s, but I still couldn't even get my foot in. I can kind of get my toe in. And she's like, listen, you just have to learn to re-walk
Mhm.
in bigger shoes. And I'm like, bitch, I ain't learning I am years old. So I ain't learning how to walk now. Okay. And it was kind of like that light bulb Oprah aha moment of there's something wrong here, that I can't find a high heel that is, with all that the world has to offer right now in technology, I can't find a heel that I can walk in.
Yeah.
So that was sort of like the light bulb moment. And it all kind of snowballed. I went home, I talked to my husband, Jeff, about it. He actually has a very entrepreneurial spirit. So he encouraged me, hooked up with someone who had been in the shoe business, brought my best friend in from college who was this marketing expert. We created this team, found a manufacturer in Spain, and about a year and a half later, F Major was born. And we did some really cool marketing. Tagline is 3 inches never felt so good. And it was sort of like all this irreverent marketing. And because we're like trying to say, even at our age of 50 something, like we're still, sexy, sarcastic, sassy, irreverent, smart. We're not done. 50 is not what it used to be. And the marketing supported that.
Mhm.
And then we started selling F majors, and their F major just has really, there's just two versions. There is a beige and a black,
Mhm.
patent and flat leather, because the idea was you just need that shoe, that little black dress, that little black shoe that goes with everything, right? At our age, I didn't need I don't need a closet filled with shoe boxes and rhinestones and red bottoms. I want something that looks hot and that I can actually walk in.
Right.
So that's sort of the story of F major. And um, so
I mean, it's the story of F major, but it's also the story of you. And I just want to, I mean, I want to interject a second because it's really interesting hearing you lay out your journey because you say that you didn't really know what you wanted to do for a long time and you were kind of bouncing around from thing to thing. That to me is the essence of the entrepreneurial spirit. Like you've been an entrepreneur your entire professional adult life, even going back to, working at a company that like, arranging dates for people and stuff. Like that's a pretty entrepreneurial kind of thing,
oh,
outside the
yeah,
box
cool.
creativity. How can we how
Thing.
can we create this transaction between these two and make electricity
Yeah.
sparks fly? That's really cool. You could, but I'm just saying you could kind of go back. Obviously, you'd never be able to predict that you would go in this direction back then, but you could go back and see how you were looking for it and kind of open to it and
Yeah.
prepared to make that success for yourself.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I think that, like, the truth is I was never, fulfilled or, you know, at home sort of being boxed in, and everybody says, "I don't wanna sit behind a." I really didn't wanna sit behind a desk,
Right.
but I didn't feel like I had options and in my 20s, and I wouldn't take not one of those jobs back because they all certainly taught me something. And I met people who I would have never met, and everything's about who you know and meeting people and learning how to be someone who can engage in all different kinds of situations. So I wouldn't change the fact that I had all these different jobs. But yes, I never felt really motivated by the work I was doing probably until F major. And
Mm.
now it's a whole different world because then I got onto this crazy ride that I'm on now with the Housewives of New Jersey, and that led me to my new relationship with the Avenue and American Dream that has been so exciting and fulfilling in a way that those little jobs that I had when I was younger, not always little jobs, but they weren't. They paid the bills and they were necessary, I guess, as you're
Mhm.
saying, for me to get where I am today. But maybe I did always have that entrepreneurial spirit. I mean, I haven't thought of it, but I like it. I like
Yeah. Well,
that.
I'm curious, just going back to the nature of your environment of it all, because I mean, to me, I can't think of a place to grow up beyond New Jersey that defines you more than Texas.
Right.
Like, when you think of somebody from Texas, you have a very specific idea of what that person might be like. And then you come here and now you're kind of absorbing the people around you here and this whole vibe. I mean, how did those two things, do you think, kind of shape who you are? The Texas of it all, the Jersey slash New York of it all. How does that all feed
No one
into?
ever asked me that question. I love that question.
Yeah.
Um, well, so like just breaking it down to my accent, people, I don't know, maybe lately over the last few years, but people are noticing that I have a Jersey accent or not. I don't know, but generally, people cannot ever place exactly where I'm from, which I love. I don't necessarily have a thick, although when I'm with my high school friends, the Southern drawl comes out like that. Really funny. But so I bring that up in the sense that I don't have, necessarily a Jersey accent. My parents were both from Brooklyn or New York accent, and I'm sort of fluid, when we're talking about my voice and accent. And which I love. I can adapt or I can, I think there's something to be said for a kid like me who was so young and moved around so much and was shown different opposite ends of the country and different cultures. And it wasn't just Jersey and Texas. I told you we moved around quite a bit when I was very young, but I also had parents. I had a mother who I was living with in Sugar Land, which is a very southern Southwest Houston part of Texas, and a
Mm,
father who was living in Manhattan at the time. It was, the 80s, and he was this crazy successful real estate mogul type.
mm,
Um, Things have changed, but in the 80s, he was this kind of big deal, and he had this apartment at 1010 Fifth Avenue, like right across from the Metropolitan Museum. And I would go from, living with my mom in this teeny tiny, my stepfather and my sister, and this teeny tiny little house in Sugar Land to, jetting off at Christmas break in some Lear jet that, and adapting to those different situations and
mm.
scenarios. There were certainly good and bad about both of those scenarios.
Sure.
Um, and, you know, I watched my kids grow up in the same town. And I think there's something so wonderful. I'm so proud that I was able to provide that for them. At the same time, I don't know if they are as adaptable. Maybe they are, but I always felt like I could go anywhere. Like
Yeah.
if I have friends whose husbands, at some point in their career said, "We have to move to, I don't know, Colorado." And it was a big deal and not an easy thing. And I always thought if we had to move, even if it was out of the country, I'm not saying I'm not trying to be a big shot. I have roots and people and that I love. I'm not saying I would be like, but I could do it and I could meet people and I could acclimate.
Yeah.
So, and I think I am pretty good at like I can connect with people pretty easily, and I think a lot of it does probably have to do with some of this, with my background. I had to learn how to adapt.
Right.
So, I mean, there's also all the bad shit that comes along with all of this, but, I'm gonna only tell you about the good right now, so
That's okay. You don't have to sugarcoat anything, but I mean, look, it's clear that your ability to kind of morph and be a chameleon, that's important in life and in business.
yeah, I
And you've been able to kind of use that in every aspect of your life, which is amazing. Um, you seem to have, in everything you talk about, some level of passion and enthusiasm for everything you do. Is that something that you've kind of maintained as a priority? Because it feels like you're always kind of looking for where that passion is, as opposed to just sticking in one lane and just staying there because that's what you've been doing the last year or 2 years. Like, I feel like there's an open-mindedness here to be like, you know what, this is exciting. I want to focus my energies to this, and it bears fruits. Like, you're finding success from your passion. Do you feel like that's like a superpower for you?
mm, I'd love to say yes, but I think that what happens, I think, with me is that when I'm not passionate about something and I get very, lazy. I mean, maybe that's not the word to use, but when I'm not into something, I have a hard time motivating, and I think that and a hard time being disciplined, right?
Yeah.
So, and I also have a tendency to get very excited about something uh, and then want to run away from it. For instance, with F major,
Mm,
the whole concept to me was just so exciting, and then the building of it. But I put it together. I was very smart. I brought people into it very quickly, and
mm,
I so created these partnerships so that I couldn't weasel out, because
yeah.
I am the kind of person which I would give that advice out. Like, if you're I had to set up those kind of guardrails for myself, because once I get bored and I'm not passionate about something,
Yeah.
not always I don't have always the easiest time keeping the passion alive. How's that? But there are things that have happened to me, excuse me, like the Housewives. I didn't that was I mean, that was a very lucky day that a casting director and my friend Margaret Josephs, who actually, you know, facilitated that. But when a casting director called me and asked me, and I watched the show forever, and I was like, "You're no way, this is crazy." Took the risk and became part of this crazy, all of a sudden I was on this roller coaster ride, and I couldn't help but be passionate about it because it was so exhilarating. And all of a sudden your life changes, right? I was 53 years old,
Yeah.
and no one was knocking on my door. And all of a sudden I'm doing these crazy things and meeting people, and my whole life changed in this way that was really scary, not always fun, but it's been the kind of adventure that, yeah, I'm still like the passion. It's hard for the passion to die. You
Yeah.
know, this adventure is that kind of a situation where there's so much hype and exhilaration and all of that. I mean, listen, I don't know what the show's coming back. It's been on pause, and I don't know what's going to happen with it. I did 2 seasons of it. Who knows?
Mm,
But then it's led to these other opportunities. I love to talk to people. So I do this podcast with Jackie Goldschneider, who is another one of the cast and
mm,
of Jersey, my friend, and we've been doing this podcast for going on 2 years now. I didn't know that much about podcasts before I got an opportunity to do this with Jackie, but I really love it. I love sitting down with you and just shooting the shit with people that I don't know, and, not just talking about me, but talking about you. And
yeah.
so it's easy to I don't get lazy or bored with that stuff because I really like it. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm passionate. When I'm passionate about something means I'm just really enjoying something. So, but not everything for me has been like that or will be like that. And I definitely I wish that I had a little more discipline with the stuff that I wasn't passionate about. But I find if I'm not passionate about it, I'm not good at it. And usually you know, I don't do a good job.
I feel like you don't have to be too bummed out about not putting energy where your passions don't lie when the stuff that you're passionate about works out as well as it has for you. I mean, luckily,
That.
thank
Yes, luckily,
yeah.
I'm very blessed.
And I mean, as far as the Real Housewives go, I mean, I don't know how it feels to be in that bubble, sort of in your position, but
Feels
from
ins
the outside looking in, it doesn't matter seeming I mean, of course it matters if the show's coming back or not, but you're going to be a part of that body of work forever. You're going to be recognizable for that forever. Like there's no escaping this if you wanted to be. You're a different person now in this world. Like,
I think that's such a nice thing to say.
uh, I mean, do you feel that? I mean, you go out in public. I mean, I have to imagine there's a recognizability now to
Yeah.
you
Listen,
that
I'm not Angelina Jolie. I'm not, like, stopping traffic. No one is like, "Gosh, Jennifer Fessler." It's not, I don't have that the paparazzi doesn't follow me around. But yes, I get recognized, and it's still, again, I'm 56 years old. It's like people are when people do come up to me, they're like, "I'm so sorry. I don't want you to think I'm crazy. I don't want you to think I'm a freak." I'm like, "Honey, I am so flattered that you're coming up to me, you
yeah.
know? Like, I don't you gotta be kidding me. I'm so grateful that somebody wants to who am I? Stop by and say hello and yeah, and I am proud that you're right. I was on a show for 2 years that a lot of people watch, and I am proud of it. And I will always have that, right? So and whether or not I'm recognized, it's like I did this, life is short, blah blah blah. But like I did this real crazy, exciting thing
Yeah.
that I'm so happy is, I have that as part of my life that I
And
did that.
I mean, you talked before about growing up, you wanted to be on stage or in front of cameras or in front of people. Like that was a thing within you that came to fruition all this time later. Like you were born for this, man. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. And now you're moving on to this whole other chapter. Now listen, we're going to be talking on this show, as we have in episodes that you've checked out so far, about lots of things Jersey. That if you're here, you know. If you're not, we're going to educate you. The American Dream. Are we calling it the American Dream Mall? Is it even a mall, or it's more?
The American Dream experience.
Yes, yes.
It's not a mall. And I mean, there's a reason for that, right? Like, have you been there?
I have been there, yeah, and
So
I'm trying to figure out the right words to describe it to those who have never seen it, because there's a lot of people I know, even in Jersey, who for whatever reason have just not made their way out there to check it out, and it's
I
like,
was
oh, it's that
people.
big mall. No,
No.
it's
It's so amazing. It is, it's different things to different people, of course, and I think a lot of it has to do with age and um, for parents with young kids, it is an experience. It's an amusement park. It's a ski slope. It's a water park. It's the Sesame Street Studios. It's a place where you can get every single type of food you've ever dreamed of. It's a place where you can go and watch a wrestling match or a
mhm,
concert. It has all of that. So that doesn't feel just like a mall, right?
right.
And then I was so the part that I am passionate about, the part of American Dream is called the Avenue.
Yes.
And I was contacted by the general manager who I was friendly with years and years ago before the show. And I guess at that point, my friend Brian was the general manager over at Garden State Plaza
Mhm.
and another big mall here in Northern Jersey. And I guess he'd followed me on social media in my career and reached out and said, we have an area of American Dream that we'd love to, you know, work with you on getting a little bit more visibility out there and letting people know about. And so it's called the Avenue, and it was right up my avenue, right up my alley. But it is because the Avenue is the sort of wing of American Dream that is all luxury. And so it has stores. The stores are Saks Fifth Avenue, Hermes, Balenciaga, Gucci. I have to like look at my list because there's so many. Cartier, Dolce Gabbana, EPIing, Rolex, Saint Laurent, Tiffany. There's all luxury in the most gorgeous setting. It is so beautiful there, with the most beautiful caviar and champagne bar,
Mhm.
and Carpaccio's, which is this amazing Italian restaurant. It is just just the space alone, you have to just see it to believe it.
It is. It's a sight. It's a sight, and I can attest to the fact that if you don't, because the entire experience is so big and so expansive. It's like an airport. So there's all
Yeah.
these different areas where you can park. There's parking decks and such. And the first time that I went with my daughter to the American Dream experience, and we went to the very other end of the experience, which would be was it the DreamWorks water park, which I believe
Yeah,
is the largest
big
uh,
Shrek, said of it right.
yes, it's the largest indoor water park in the country. They also have Nickelodeon Land, like an entire full-size children's amusement park in this structure, in this enclosed building, which is much more than a building. And but we didn't park in the right place,
Uh,
so we're walking the area, like treating it like a mall after just leaving a
it's
water park.
big. I mean, you have to
Still,
be you have to know what you're doing or,
yeah.
navigate it.
But then all of a sudden we're walking and walking and walking, and we're just like, we're gonna check everything out. And then all of a sudden it's like the Wizard of Oz. Like it went from like black and white to Technicolor, everything changed, and and we're in your part of town in this area that is so beautiful, and there's like these beautiful fountains, and as you said, sacks, and
Well
just
done.
like
It has, so do you know Jonathan Adler? Which there is a retail store there, which is it's hard to find a Jonathan Adler retailer,
mm,
um, in Jersey. I think it's the only one. So, but Jonathan Adler is a designer, and the whole wing is him, and it's a very specific style, and
mm,
it's just absolutely colorful and gorgeous and kitschy and sculpture and texture. It's really, really beautiful.
yeah, yeah, it's very cool. And it's I don't know if it's just the I mean, part of it I think is the architecture of the place, but it's it's a very comfortable place to enjoy a day. Like it's not
It is, right?
overcrowded,
Yeah,
and it's just like it's very spacious,
right.
and
I
it's just
know. And it's
it's
also like, you know, people don't realize what they have going on there. Like, it's the largest Gucci in the country. And I
mm,
wanna say it's also the largest Dolce& and Gabbana. I mean, and it's so close to New York, so it's in Rutherford.
yeah.
Um, from where I live in Upper Saddle River, it is a 25-minute drive,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
and actually for reference, for those who aren't aware, it's actually pretty much right next to MetLife Stadium,
Yes,
which is
it
where the
is.
Giants and the Jets play. So
That's exactly
it's
right.
yeah, it's right on the I mean, it's as close to being in between New York and New Jersey as possibly could be.
Right. It is so, and for people in Northern Jersey, I don't think they realize, I don't know why because I didn't until I actually went for my first meeting there with my friend, and I was like, wait a second. And also, it's open 7 days a week, and
Mhm.
not all of North Jersey is.
Right.
So most is not. So it's like, I would go on a Sunday into New York State or into Westchester, even to Short Hills. That is twice as far, right?
Mhm.
And when here, and not only is it, so the avenue is all luxury, but they were very smart in the building of American Dream, because right outside of the wing that is the avenue, they have other stores, like for instance, Lululemon. Okay, so for someone like me, who, although I like to think of myself as all luxury, I'm not. I can't afford to be. I'm not. My clothes can't all come from Chanel. It just, doesn't work like that for me, or Hermes. So, but it's also, then you go into the mall where, I really can shop, but it's also like the stores, they were so smart. It's stores, again, they're not children's stores. It's like, it's like you leave the avenue, it's like Sephora and Lululemon. And for people, again, in the city as well, they don't have anything like that, obviously, in Manhattan, that where you want to make a day of it and you want to do all of that, and it's indoors, and then you want to go to one of these unbelievable restaurants, or maybe you feel like you've been living in New York and you miss yourself a food court, and you're
Right.
going to find the greatest one that there is. And it's just more than that. I mean, the Jonas Brothers are going to be there soon, and Kim Kardashian was there recently and
Mm.
tweeted out that it is her favorite place to go for her kids to go when she goes to New York. And that's like her absolute favorite stop with her kids. It's just fun.
Mm. That's awesome. And also the
That was like, oh, I'm sorry. There's like, if you're going to be a regular going to the Avenue, there's a free limousine service. There's
mm,
complimentary valet parking. There's all this stuff.
wow.
Yeah.
And also the New Jersey Hall of Fame, I believe, has a physical location within the experience. So um, some made in Jersey spirit that you can have as part of your day there as well. Check out all the greats. But yeah, I mean, it's so exciting. It seems like such a perfect match for you to apply, your sensibilities and your passion and your motivation
Yeah, I
and
agree. I mean, I am passionate about it because I could spend all day long shopping. I mean, I don't mean to sound so shallow, but it's true. I can
yeah.
walk the Avenue all day long and like never get bored. And we're talking about, when you're passionate about something, uh, it's I feel there's its own motivation that comes with that. And just there's, no other Saks for me to go to. And I missed Saks. I mean, unless I'm going into the city.
Mhm.
So I just Saks alone. And I love to shop and I love fashion. So for me, that's all time well spent. And I love food. So, and I love champagne and caviar. And, I don't have young kids anymore, but God willing, one day I'll have grandchildren. And guess what? There's a day right there.
Mhm.
So there's a lot I mean, just the water park alone is so incredible,
Yeah. So
right?
what are some of the things I know that part of what you're doing is you're kind of putting your voice out there into the world and social media and such and being a part of just bringing that experience and letting people know about what's going on. What's the day to day, the week to week, the month to month? What's your involvement with this
With
this
the with the
yeah.
Avenue.
Yeah.
I mean, I think about it. I think about the Avenue all the time. I do though, but I'm not there on a daily, but I'm there a lot. And
Mhm.
uh, meet and greets, events.
Mm.
We're planning some really very cool charity events coming up. Um, so there's a lot we're going to have like weekly picks, Jen's weekly picks, and I like to just walk and be there and meet the people. And but there's a whole calendar of events that if you please do follow American Dream online, you're going to see what is coming. Even just in March, there's two different charity events. One is not Dress for Success. That's a charity that I've been involved with, but um, Zadig and Voltaire, they're doing a charity event at the end of the month for for clothing and security, and there's going to be 25% off all the merchandise in their store, and
Mhm.
they'll do like a cocktail, a little champagne, meet and greet, that kind of thing. So there's always something going on there.
Mhm.
Again, I mentioned the Jonas Brothers are coming, and that's going to be they're kicking off their worldwide tour because they're Jersey
Mm.
based at
Wow.
the American Dream. So we're talking about also bringing in potentially. I know they're very involved. I think it's Nick Jonas who has type 1 diabetes.
He does. Yep.
So does my daughter.
Mine too, actually.
Get out.
Yeah, no, for real.
Has type 1?
Yeah, she
Well, I'm sorry
does.
to your listeners. That's a whole other thing that you and I can talk about now. Like I can just you and I can sit and have a whole different conversation because
I know we can. I know we can.
that is all right. So that's
No.
a podcast. But anyway, so he is very involved in I mean, I'm involved with JDRF,
Mm.
um, and he is in type 1. Oh my God, I forget the name of it.
He's a
Uh,
Dexcom guy. I know that.
Dexcom guy. He absolutely is.
Mhm.
Yeah, so are we. Rachel's a
Yeah,
Dexcom girl.
us too.
Yeah,
This is going in a weird
it is.
direction,
It
but it's
is.
cool.
It
It's
is.
cool.
It is.
This is real.
Yeah.
um, yeah, but it just sounds like it's such an exciting time for you because you still have one foot in this huge thing that everyone knows you for, of course, in being a part of the Housewives world. Of course, your business successes continue to grow, and now this whole new relationship with the Avenue, and just continuing
Yeah.
to see that grow and become a bigger deal. Um, that's awesome. That's
Well,
so.
I really listen, we talk passions. I'm very passionate about Israel. I'm very passionate about uh, advocating for the hostages. I've
Mhm.
got that's again that's another podcast entirely. But I really am interested in spending time, devoting my time to those causes. And so, um, to combat anti-Semitism, and I'm involved with organizations that do that. So, and that is something that that never becomes boring. That is something that I'm always and will forever be passionate about. So, and defending Israel. So, like, there's something else you ask me, what does a week look like or a day?
Mhm.
There's always something going on.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great. Well, we're so appreciative that you were able to take a little time and be on our show and tell us about uh, all things Fessler, if you will.
Oh,
Before
Jerry.
we let you go, though, um, this is a tradition on the show, and this is, I think, especially important for you, not being a Jersey native. We need to test you and
Uh-oh.
see exactly what kind of a Jersey transplant is. Is that what are you a
Fine,
Jersey
I'll take it.
transplant? Okay, we'll do it. But we'll see exactly what you have become, so to speak, in your
All
years
right.
here in New Jersey.
All right.
This is going to be 12 questions. We're going to just bang, bang, bang.
All
We
right.
call this the Jersey Dozen. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Don't think too hard.
I won't.
Clear your mind.
All right.
What is your favorite Jersey Shore town to hang out in?
We just bought a house in Margate, New Jersey.
Bang. All right. What would you say is the definitive New Jersey TV show?
The Sopranos.
Sopranos. You don't even want to hear the other options, huh?
I mean, I could say Real Housewives of New Jersey, but
I
Los
was also going to add Jersey Shore to the list, but I don't think it's
Sopranos,
Sopranos. All right. Um, you like pizza?
obviously.
Where's your favorite Jersey pizza place?
There's a place called Kinchley's here in Ramsey, New Jersey,
Mhm.
that I just absolutely love.
I love this question because you could ask 100 people and they'll all have a different pizza
Yeah.
place. It's great. Um, definitive Jersey in question: Springsteen or Bon Jovi?
Springsteen.
Okay. Best live show memory in New Jersey. Have you been a concert goer here in the state?
Of course.
Yeah.
We're big into country music. So we've seen, it's really fun actually to go to Atlantic City and see, uh, you know, they're cover bands, but I think that's always so much fun. But I mean, Springsteen for sure. Springsteen everywhere. Although I've been to PNC and seen James Taylor. I
Mhm.
love that. I love PNC in the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Parkway or Turnpike?
Parkway.
Okay. Any reason why?
I live right off the Parkway. James
Ah.
Gandolfini, exit 172, the James Gandolfini rest stop.
I love how the new names of the rest stops are
So
defining us
great.
now. Best place to grab a beer?
My house in the summer.
Yeah.
I mean, anywhere. Let me think. Best place. I mean, anywhere that's outside.
Mm.
I don't know. I go to Anthony's Coal Fire or over here on 17. What's the place in Park Ridge? The Tavern? I don't know.
Mm. Okay.
Beer anywhere.
A lot of options. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pork rolls or bagels?
Bagels. But my
Mm.
husband is a pork roll guy.
Okay. Well, this is kind of a gray area. Favorite mall. So we're not
Well, it's
gonna
not a
count.
mall,
Right.
but American Dream is absolutely my favorite mall adjacent place to go.
I like that. I like that. All right. Nicely done. Jersey icon they should name a rest stop after. So who have we not named something after yet that is next on the list?
I mean, I have to say Jersey housewife. So I'm going to be a little torn because I think of I can't do this because now
Mm.
it's going to become, do you watch the show? Melissa, Teresa, Melissa, Teresa.
You're very brave if you pick one.
Dolores.
I would just avoid
Okay.
that category
Yeah,
altogether.
right.
But
Okay. So how about a rest stop? What about if it just says Real Housewives of New? How about Snooki? Let's give her a rest.
sure,
Okay. Snooki.
absolutely. Okay, Cool. um, I know this answer already. This is kind of a dividing line of North and South Jersey, but considering everything you've said so far, New York teams or Philly teams?
We just moved to Margate, and apparently you cannot live there without being a Phillies fan. And my
Mm.
son and my husband are the last things in the world they are not Phillies fans. So I don't know what to say. I mean, they're Giants fans. I really don't give a shit. If I'm being honest with you, I really don't care. But I'll probably go Philly now. Why not? They just won.
Okay. That's it. The bandwagon, jump on the bandwagon before it
Right,
leaves
right,
the station.
right.
Okay, final question, and this is the most important one of all. This is the one you will be remembered for forever.
Ugh,
Um,
pressure of it all.
um, I want you to tell us why you love Jersey, open-ended. Give us your most powerful statement. Make it kick-ass. That's the mission.
I'm just going to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Uh, Jersey is my home, and I never felt like that about anywhere else. I never had a home like I do now, and have now lived in Jersey for going on like 25 years. I never lived anywhere for that long, and I never, I really not even anywhere near that long, and I never felt like I belonged anywhere as much as I feel like I belong in New Jersey. Again, I could live anywhere. I pride myself on being adaptable. Where I want to be is New Jersey. It's for a myriad of reasons. The people, people think of Jersey, they think of the armpit. Meanwhile, it's like between the shore and the mountains and, you know, I mean, the country piece of it. There's so much beauty in Jersey, and it's so close to New York, and it's so close to Philly. And it's to me, it's just Americana, like, at its finest. But Jersey for me is just has it's home for me more than any other place has ever been. Is that is that good?
That's awesome. That's powerful stuff. We
Okay.
are I mean, this whole interview, this whole conversation has been powerful and inspiring and everything that we expected and more. So,
Oh, that's so nice.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
and it was so nice for you to be here. We know you're swamped. We know
my
you've got lots of things going on. We want to thank all of you for checking us out this time out on Made in Jersey as well. Keep on following us, keep on subscribing, help us keep growing so we can bring back Jen and bring back more big guests like Jen and just keep the party rolling here in the Garden State. So until next time, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody.